Hi friends! I know it's been a minute, but I'm back. I took probably a month break here because, I've been traveling. I've been gone up north a couple times and I've been really busy at work, so that's a good thing, right? And yesterday was the lunar eclipse. I know we have another solar eclipse coming. I think it's the 21st of September. But today is Monday, start of a new week. So here we go. First card out is what Spirit would like to speak with us about. Okay. First card out are the mice. Those mice, I remember the day that I got that photo because, each one of these cards I have taken my own photo of. It was kind of that kind of excitement because I got the photo, but it was kind of like, ooh, but it actually, kind of turned out kind of cool, though. I don't know if you can see it, but these two mice are kind of hanging on to each other, which kind of symbolizes a little bit of a codependent type of a relationship. But a closeness, more or less. So maybe even, people who come into your life that add benefit and closeness and because the lily is there too. The lily kind of has that softer energy, and more virtuous and unconditional, and then peaceful and that feeling. And the sun is next to that, so I love to see that combination with the mice. So it's kind of a bittersweety kind of too, though, because the snake is there, so that can be kind of turn it back around, or a little bit of jealousy, a little bit of envies, a little bit of I don't know. I just feel like sometimes, we get too attached, and we need to learn to not be so worried about the outcomes sometimes. So just kind of keep that positive mindset, where relationships are concerned. Okay, don't be so consumed with it that it takes up all of your thought processes. So the heart's in the middle too. So I feel like this is definitely some sort of a codependent type of a relationship that you're needing to kind of, back away from, or, try to give them their space. Okay. All right. The next card out is the stork. The stork is that forward movement, progress, a little bit of migration possibly too. So it could be, maybe going places with friends or family, children, maybe, that vacation feel to it. I feel like, now school's back in session. Now we can kind of focus on those responsibilities. Okay. I know there's a lot of busy moms out there, because I remember this time of year, everything came down at me all at once. I had 4 children, all, within 3 years of one another. And when school would start, there would be school pictures, there'd be lunch, there'd be, getting their clothes, their school clothes, and, getting them ready, what they were going to wear. And, I know it can be challenging, but not insurmountable. If I can do it, you can too. All right, next card out is the cross. The cross are those responsibilities. Sometimes, the more we must do, the more we can do. And sometimes it can be a little painful, but I almost feel like that's rewarding as well. But that karmic, this is your destiny feel to it. So, you're not going to be given more than you can handle. And when you do feel overwhelmed, just, treat it, one step at a time. Okay. All right. Let's see what else we have here. I'm going to lay them out so I can see the corners first. Oh, we've got the key. I love to see the key. The key is the solutions. The key is, it's a yes card. It's like a positive card. In our thoughts, which, that's the left corner, the clouds, those can kind of, get in the way. Sometimes we can get in our own way, but if you think on it, a solution will come, right? So just give it some thought and a positive outlook. Okay. Not to say that you have to ignore any concerns. But if you were to, keep your positive thoughts, and the best interest of, in the forefront or in mind, then you'll come up with a good solution. Okay. Upper left hand corner is the lilies. I love my lilies. In a work standpoint, that could be like longevity. A career that is going to withstand the test of time. It could be retirement feel to it as well. I've been a loan officer for 30 years. So, that's kind of what I planned on doing with my career, to last into my retirement years. Well, now I feel that, I have other interests and I like to bring them along the way as well. So, I have found my new normal with that. I've been juggling everything that I've been doing pretty well. And, finding the time to even, pursue my personal interests on top of my career interests, along with my friendships, that can be challenging. So I feel like, there's always places to go, people to see, things to do, feel. Okay. Let's see, what do I see here? I see the moon and the fish. That's an offer. That can be a financial offer too. But I see a challenge with that. A lucky break, and decisions to be made. So, like I said before, try to give it some time. You'll come up with a solution. Try to keep your positive, mindset, and the outcome, how you would like for it to come to fruition. Okay. Can't stress that enough, because we are the person driving our own car every day, right? Yeah, we do encounter people that co-create with us, but we are still in control of our life, right? So when somebody comes in and kind of tells us, what they think, sometimes that doesn't feel so good. But if you can listen and then respond, take the good, try to integrate those thoughts into how you would like to proceed when you're co-creating with people. Like, let's say you're going somewhere and you're trying to decide where you would like to eat or where you'd like to go. How there's collaboration. Everybody kind of, puts in what they like to do, and then you kind of can come up with something that kind of meets the needs of all parties, right? And I've said this before, all relationships need to have an equal amount of give and take. They also need to be heard and listened to, as like you would like to be heard and listened to as well. So try not to be so rigid, because the reason I say rigid is that mountain is in the middle, and maybe not so stuck and stagnant. Open up, explore. Don't always go to the same places. Don't always eat the same foods. Try new things, go new places. Okay. That's how we learn. That's how we grow, and all the new experiences shape who we are, right? So, but I do see information opening up, and I do see a little bit of a cross to bear, that feeling of, kind of like how Jesus had to carry the cross, it's what it feels like. So, yeah, how do you eat that elephant one step or one bite at a time? So I feel like there is some changes that are coming that may seem, maybe overwhelming, or new things that you have to learn, to get to what you're doing. Okay. Like, it could be a test. It could be, you know, especially like if you're going to school, there might be some sort of a final exam kind of feel to it. Okay. But I do know that higher knowledge and wisdom and all of those things are kind of like what we're here to do, right? We're here to learn and grow from that, right? So I say too, surround yourself with people who promote that. Okay, people who, because knowledge is kind of a focal point here. Surround yourself with like-minded individuals, but also it's always nice to surround yourself with people who are experts in that field, so that you can learn more and incorporate their knowledge in with your knowledge. So sharing your knowledge and co-creating there too can really move some mountains. My mountain in the middle again. Let's see, what else do I see? Oh, I see the ring and the stars. That is, that kind of like and then when the scythe is around, it's always kind of like an aha moment. Let's see. Yeah, and I see where there might be a little bit of a delay, or not a delay, but a period of away, maybe, or maybe getting back from, okay? Because, there is a return feel to it, and it could be, getting back and reacclimated after you've been away, okay? I see big success, though, the sun and the bear. That's nice to see. Oh, let's see what else. The man and the woman are right next to each other, but the mountain is there. So I feel like there's a delay or a challenge or an obstacle. And possibly a move or a sale, because the house is there too. So I don't know if, we're trying to, maybe move things that are heavy, or maybe we just need to get out of that stagnant, stuck energy. And about the only way to do that is, you need to communicate, obviously, express your needs. If something is overwhelming and it's not something that you can do all by yourself, you need to ask for help, okay? One person can't be carrying the weight the whole time. You both need to be working together. Yeah, and I've said this before, relationships, as far as, equal amount of give and take, we're not always giving 50-50. Sometimes it's 80-20, but then other times it's 20-80. But strive for that 60-40, and you always strive to be the 60. So let's see, what else do I see? I see a little bit of handling those small problems before they become bigger problems, or it could be that you're making a mountain out of a molehill. That's what it really probably is with that mountain in the center. And I do see blessings. Yeah, the moon and the clover in the heart. So, that would be a new phase. And it would be kind of a creative type of an energy is attached to it as well. Mm, sometimes, each relationship can go through different phases and stages. So I see that too. I feel like, you need to kind of rest, and, if you are feeling anxious or worried or concerned, to sleep on it, because, the coffin is there too. So sometimes we get our overstimulated, our nervous systems can kind of go into overdrive, okay? Or it could be an allergic reaction to something too. I see the when the flowers and the tree is there, that kind of indicates health, eating, veggies, fruits and vegetables, and that sort of thing. Maybe just like try to take things, take some things out of your diet and see if you see any improvement there, or add certain nutrients in that you might be deficient of. Okay. Diet and exercise for sure. Yeah, those are in that mix. So, just pay attention to your body, listen, it speaks. Your body can heal, given the proper environment, nutrients, and that. So, like, I've noticed a difference with my own regimen, with my hair and my nails and my skin, what works and what doesn't work, what foods to stay away from, and what foods that I know my body responds well to. Okay. I still can't preach my hula hooping enough, though. Get yourself a hula hoop. Do that every day. Let's see. I don't know. I see some official business though. There's the bear, the tower, and the tree. That's like deep roots. That's official. That's challenging. That's courageous. That's, you know, something of importance. But the book is there, so it's a mystery. So hopefully, maybe we'll see the reveal on that. And I do see co-creation, you know, collaboration with colleagues in that same portrait. So you'll have to let me know what that was all about. And then the key was the final outcome. So that's the solution, the green light, and it's a positive outcome. So, all right, friends. Well, if you'd like a more personal reading, please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to sit down with you. And till next week, you have a blessed week. Bye-bye.